Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another third-party unlicensed 1/6 scale head sculpt unboxing and review video. Now today we're going to be taking a look at a sculpt by none other than my favorite third-party company, being Soso Toys themselves. This is of course their John Wick head sculpt with the interchangeable magnetic hair pieces. I cannot wait to see how that looks in hand. Now bear in mind this is third party and it is unlicensed. That means that if you're picking it up, do so knowing full well they don't hold the intellectual property rights to call this guy John Wick, hence the name SSH002 John. I picked up mine from toyswonderland.com. Link for that is down in the description below, just for your reference purposes only. This is by no means a promotional video, it's a review on a product that I purchased with my own money. Now I was super excited to get this. I actually ended up picking up two, and the reason for that I'll reveal a little bit later in the video. Yes, it will be to compare both different hair looks side by side, but also there is another reason. If you are heading down to the comments or into the description, why not hit that subscribe and bell notification icon so you're notified as soon as brand new content goes live on the channel. Now let's kick this off by taking a look at the box art itself. First of all, it's super classy. It's made of a very thick and sturdy cardstock. I love the print, John Wick on the front, in this very cartoonized style, but you can very clearly tell who that's supposed to be. I don't know why there is blood on the sculpt, or I should say on the image though, because on the actual head sculpt itself, it's clean, there is no blood. Still, I love the way it looks. It's a nice gloss with a matte red in the background. Soso Toys logo, and of course, some dual-wielding crossed M4s looking fantastic. I do like the bullet hole effects on the back there. It's a very nice, classy piece of box art. Either way, we're not here to talk about the box, we're here to look at the sculpt itself, and without further ado, here it is. I do believe it comes wearing the long-haired hairpiece, and yes it does. I have to say, first impressions are pretty darn positive. This very clearly looks like Keanu Reeves as John Wick. I am definitely seeing the likeness there. It is pretty much bang on, in my personal opinion. Don't worry, we will be comparing it to the Hot Toys one a little bit later in the video. But as I said, this is the long-haired hairpiece. You can actually remove it. It's a two-part magnetic piece. And of course, inside the box, we do have the alternate hairpiece. I personally don't know which body will be wearing the short-haired and which, or I should say the slicked back-haired, and which one will be wearing the more sort of unkept, more rough and ready look for the hairpiece. You'll have to let me know what you think down in the comments below, because of course I do have the Hot Toys John Wick. I will be picking up both versions of the Ace Toys John Wick body and outfit set as well. The one with the turtleneck and of course the one with just the regular white shirt. So I will have to decide which one will be wearing which head sculpt. But I have to say, this head sculpt at first glance is looking really darn good. I can see the likeness, I can see the intensity in the expression, the texture, the paint app is looking second to none. And I think that's where Soso Toys is really starting to hit their stride. It's in the sculpt and the texture and the paint apps. They are definitely nailing it. And I have to say, in terms of a just standalone 1/6 scale head sculpt, I am really impressed. What we are going to do now though is kick off some comparisons. So we're going to bring out the second version that I did pick up, pop on the regular, more unkept look for the hair, and compare them to the Hot Toys head sculpt. And here we have the three different head sculpt options for John Wick. Obviously far left and center being Soso Toys, and the one on the right being Hot Toys. Let's start off by comparing the two Soso Toys head sculpts. Obviously, the sculpt itself is identical, it's just the hair that's different. Honestly, I'm leaning towards the one on the right, the longer haired look, with it coming around the front of his face. I like the slicked back look as well, don't get me wrong, it looks really good, but for me personally, I'm leaning towards this one. It more closer resembles the look of Hot Toys one, at the same time improving the likeness, in my opinion, at least twofold. I can very clearly tell that this is supposed to be Keanu Reeves, whereas comparing it to the Hot Toys one, I have to say, the likeness, when I reviewed it, was pretty good because there wasn't that much out there on the market, but now, comparing it to the Soso Toys release, no, the Hot Toys one isn't out of focus, it just is that flat in terms of the detail. The skin texture is so much stronger and sharper on the Soso Toys one. The shape of the jaw, and in my opinion, the eyes and the shape of the nose, far stronger on the So-So Toys release compared to the Hot Toys one. Yes, it's still a very well done head sculpt from a technical perspective, the paintwork and the detail is really nice, but it just fails in my personal opinion on the sculpt. Take a look at the neck. You can see the sort of striations on the skin, the subtle lines here and there. On the Hot Toys one, it's just smooth, like a clean sausage. It's a bit weird. I don't know why they've done that. They usually sculpt a lot more detail in there, but this time they didn't do it. Obviously, the blood effects look really good in the Hot Toys release, and I kinda wish So-So Toys would make a bloodied version. Maybe they will, who knows? But for now, I have to say, the sculpt, the likeness, in my personal opinion, I have to give it to So-So Toys. The hair itself, yes, it looks a little bit more sleek, and you can see a seam line if you're really looking for it, but it's very subtle. You wouldn't really notice it unless someone told you. When I first saw the sculpt revealed and they showed the fact that you can remove the hair, I honestly didn't believe my eyes for a second, because when it's on there, if you're not looking for it, you really can't tell. Nature of having a center part, I guess. Now let's quickly compare it to the slicked back look. I don't really like how the volume is lost on the top there. It makes the top of the head look really flat, kind of like he has no hair, but still, some people do like this look. I've seen other custom sculpts that represent this look quite nicely. This one happens to be one of the best in my personal opinion, but still, I'm more leaning towards the regular hair look than this one right here. But still, far and away, the sculpt, in my personal opinion, and by no means do you have to agree with me, is stronger on the So-So Toys release. What we are going to do now, though, is take the new So-So Toys head sculpts and, of course, pop them on the Hot Toys John Wick body. And here we have it, the moment I'm sure you've all been waiting for, the So-So Toys John Wick head sculpt installed on the Hot Toys body, with the slicked back hair. Don't worry, you'll see the other hair option in just a second, but I have to say, this looks amazing. I knew it would, honestly. Going from the promo pics alone, this head sculpt looked fantastic, and I'm so very glad that pretty much none of the detail got lost throughout production. This thing kept all of the sculpt, paint, texture. It looks fantastic. Now I'm sitting here wondering why Hot Toys also didn't do the swap out hair gimmick. It's so simple, it works so well, it's pretty much seamless. I mean, talking about hair anyway, there are sort of natural parts and creases, so there are ways to do it, like So-So Toys have proved here. This is something that Hot Toys could have done and done really well. And I don't know why they didn't, because So-So Toys have come in, picked up the slack, and made something really done fantastic. I am in love with how good this sculpt looks. There was something that honestly I couldn't quite put my finger on that didn't work quite well with the Hot Toys sculpt, and it was the length of the neck. Don't get me wrong, the So-So Toys one isn't that much shorter, but it is a teeny bit shorter than the Hot Toys sculpt, and that makes a world of difference. He looked kind of giraffe-necked, and he had a really long face as well. The proportions were just thrown out, whereas this one is far and away my personal favorite look for John Wick. Don't worry, what we're going to do now is swap out the hair and keep the conversation going. Alright, here we have the longer hair option attached, and this looks really good as well. Is it still my preference? I know I said it earlier in the video. Yeah, it is. I like the way this looks even more so than the slicked back option. I still love the way that one comes across, but this one is just, in my opinion, quintessential John Wick. I was thinking about it, and now technically we do have 3 different hairstyle options. The Hot Toys one has the hair going back slightly over the ears, and of course we do have the battle damage look, so when I do pick up the 2 Ace Toys costume sets, I will definitely have to make use of the Hot Toys sculpt, because as I said earlier, from a technical perspective, it's still a really strong sculpt. The paintwork is immaculate, the skin detail in terms of how it's applied with that sort of skin flecking effect is great as well. It's just in the sculpt that lets it down ever so slightly, and as I said, that's where So-So Toys have come in and improved. This thing looks fantastic. If you have a Hot Toys John Wick or even a custom John Wick, in my personal opinion, this is currently the very best third-party version, in fact, the very best John Wick head sculpt in 1/6 scale on the market. But that's just my opinion, you don't have to agree with me, I'm sure everyone will have their personal favourites. Let me know which one is yours down in the comments below. If you are looking to pick this particular head sculpt up, they are in stock with Toys Wonderland. That's where I picked up mine. The link for that is in the description below, just for your reference purposes only. This is not a promotional video, this is a review of an unlicensed third-party product that I purchased with my own money. If you are heading down to to the description though, check out the link to 6 Scale Network, the awesome Facebook group. Come along, chat figures, share photos of your collection, and of course, see what's coming up next on the channel. Like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next video.